All right, let's dive in. We are standing right at the beginning of a whole new era, the agentic era. We're moving away from software that just follows instructions to AI agents that can think and act on their own. Now, this is a huge leap forward, but it brings up a massive, and I mean massive challenge. How do we actually trust these things? Our old ways of checking quality, quality assurance, they're completely broken. So today, we're going to unpack a new playbook for quality, one that stops focusing on just the final answer and starts looking at the AI's entire decision-making journey.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to really define what makes this new breed of AI so different. Then we'll get into the scary stuff, all the new and kind of sneaky ways they can fail. After that, we hit the solution, this big idea of judging the process, not just the final result. We'll explore how we can peek inside the agent's mind using observability, and then finally, we'll lay out a step-by-step playbook for building AI you can actually, trust.
Okay, first up, we have got to stop thinking about AI agents as just another piece of software. It's not the right mental model. They're much more like these unpredictable but potentially brilliant new colleagues. And that means we need a totally new way to think about quality.
This slide just nails the analogy. Think about it. Traditional software is like a delivery truck. It has a fixed route, a predictable schedule. The quality check is super simple. Did the package get there on time? Yes or no? But an AI agent, that's a Formula One race car, flying around the track, making split-second decisions at 200 miles an hour. You can't just use a simple checklist for that. You need constant, real-time data, telemetry, to judge the quality of every single decision it makes.
And this gets us to the absolute core of this shift. For years, we focused on verification. Did the delivery truck follow the map correctly? But now we need validation. We need to be constantly asking, is our F1 car actually winning the race? Is it adapting? The question is no longer, did we build the product right? It's become, did we build the right product? See the difference? It's huge.
Okay, now let's talk about the problem. AI agents fail in ways that are, they're subtle. They're insidious. An agent can pass 1,000 tests in a lab and then fail completely, catastrophically out in the real world. Why? Because the failure isn't a simple bug in the code, it's a fundamental flaw in its judgment.
And just look at these new types of failures. These are not your typical system crashes. You've got hallucinations, where the AI just makes stuff up but says it with 100% confidence. There's concept drift, which means an agent that works perfectly today might be totally useless tomorrow because the world changed. And my favorite, emergent behaviors, that's when the agent finds a clever loophole to achieve its goal that you never, ever could have predicted. These are the silent killers of trust.
And this quote, man, it just says it all. The tools we have relied on for decades to find and fix bugs, they're basically obsolete now. You can't just hit pause on the code and step through it to figure out why an AI is hallucinating. It doesn't work that way. We need a whole new toolkit.
So, this all leads us to the big aha moment, the core revelation in this new world of agent quality. If checking the final answer isn't good enough, what do we do instead? Well, the answer is, we have to judge the entire decision-making process. The how it got to the answer suddenly becomes way more important than the final what.
And we can actually frame this whole evaluation around 4 key pillars. First, is the agent effective? Does it actually help the user achieve their goal? Second, is it efficient? Is it wasting time or resources? Third, is it robust? Can it handle the messy, chaotic real world without breaking? And maybe most importantly, is it safe? Does it operate within the boundaries we've set for it?
This whole thing is called the outside-in approach, and it's a real game changer because we don't start by looking at the code. We start with the user. We ask, did the agent succeed in its mission? If the answer is yes, great. If it's no, then we start peeling back the layers of the onion to figure out the technical reason why.
And that brings us to this key phrase. I want you to remember this one. The trajectory is the truth. The final output, that's just the last sentence in a very long story. The real truth, the quality, the logic, the safety of an agent, it's all found in the entire path it took to get there. That path, that's the trajectory.
Okay, great. The trajectory is the truth. But how in the world do we actually see it? If we're going to judge the agent's process, we need a way to get inside its mind. And this is where the technical discipline of observability comes into play. I love this analogy on the slide because it makes it so clear. Traditional monitoring, what we used to do, is like checking on a line cook in a kitchen. Did they follow the recipe? Are the onions chopped? But AI observability, that's like being a food critic for a world-class gourmet chef. You're not just tasting the final dish. You want to understand their inspiration, their technique, their whole creative process. We're no longer just asking, is the agent running? We're asking, is the agent thinking effectively?
And we do this with three main pillars. Think of it this way. Logs are like the agent's diary, a super detailed, moment-by-moment record of everything that happened. Traces are the narrative thread that weaves those diary entries together into a coherent story, showing us why one thing led to another. And finally, metrics are the high-level scorecard, telling us how well the agent is performing on the whole over time.
So, how do we put this all together? We've got the framework for what to measure, we've got the tools to see inside the process. Now, let's build the playbook, a repeatable system for turning all these insights into actual, tangible trust.
And here it is, the agent quality flywheel. This is a virtuous cycle. It never stops. First, you define what good looks like using those 4 pillars we talked about. Second, you instrument your agent so it produces all the data, the logs, and traces you need to see. Third, you evaluate its process. You use AI judges to do it at scale, but you also have human experts as the final say. And fourth, and this is the magic part, you build a feedback loop. Every single time it fails, that failure automatically becomes a new test to make sure that exact mistake can never ever happen again. This is how the system gets relentlessly better over time.
So look, if you walk away with just a few things today, please let it be these 3 principles. First, evaluation is not something you tack on at the end. It has to be a core part of your agent's architecture from day one. Second, say it with me, the trajectory is the truth. The whole journey is what matters. And third, while AI can help us evaluate, at the end of the day, a human being must be the final judge of what good really means.
Let's just really hammer this last point home. You don't build a Formula One car and then, right before the race, decide to bolt on a few sensors as an afterthought. That would be insane, right? You design the car from the ground up to be measured, to be understood. It's the same with AI agents. They must be evaluatable by design. Quality isn't a QA phase. It's an architectural choice you make on day one.
And this leaves us with one final and honestly pretty profound question to think about. If an AI is our new colleague, how do we decide when to trust its judgment? You see, building these things isn't just a technical problem anymore. It's a social one. As we start working side by side with these autonomous systems, the framework we've talked about today isn't just about building better software, it's about building the very foundations of trust itself. Thanks for tuning in.